Hi, this is Maverick Truck Mods, and we got a good amount of snow this last week, a little over a foot, and as you can see in certain places with the snow drifts a lot deeper than that. I thought this would be a good opportunity to do a follow-up video to my Firestone Destination AT2 all-terrain tire video I did about putting the new tires on my truck, and maybe get these out in the snow a bit more. I've already driven in the snow 2 or 3 times this year on these new tires, and they've done really well, but I haven't had them out in the really deep snow. You can see it's about 11 inches, and my driveway is known to be pretty slick. As you can see, when we get freezing rain, it's pretty steep. It's hard to see on the camera, but it's actually pretty steep. I have a rock wall on one side and then a rock wall and a drop off on the back side. So initially I was going to shovel it, and then I thought, you know what the heck, we'll try and back out of the garage and get out of this deep snow without shoveling the driveway. And as you can see out on the road, just a couple of tracks, so I thought let's give it a try. All right, we've started the truck and we're going to put it into sand mode, because we do know that it works well in the deeper snow. All right, here we go. So we started out pretty slow backing out of the garage. We don't have a lot of room between the mirrors and the edges there, so we had to take a little easy, and we kind of got stopped up pretty quickly. So we thought we'd pull forward and give it another go with a little bit more gusto. Now my driveway, again, it doesn't really show it on the camera, but it is pretty steep. It's weird with the camera that you can't tell, but it does definitely have some steepness to it. And as you can see, we have to maneuver in a 3-point turn to basically get out of here, because it's kind of a narrow driveway as well. So in the backside, as I back up, I'm worried about falling off a rock wall down to the neighbor's house. And in the front side, it's quite steep back towards the garage. And we just about got it there. I started sliding again and had to kind of give it up. I just didn't want to risk sliding back into that rock wall in the front or into the garage. And eventually, you know, we did a little bit back and forth trying around with it. The all-wheel drive system, it tries to send power where it can to the different wheels, but obviously a 4-wheel drive system would do so much better here. I don't think we'd have any problem getting out if all 4 tires were working together. And here I'm actually trying to go back into the garage, and we just started sliding towards the house. So this is where we ended up. Kind of an unfair test for the Maverick, I have to say. Deeper snow than the clearance. The clearance with the new tires at it's about 9.2 inches, and this is 11 inches of snow. You can see it actually scraped the snow in between there because it was taller than the vehicle. The driveway is cement, super slippery underneath, so maybe not a fair test. The next day we shoveled it, so we got it all shoveled off, and it took about 2 hours. Pretty heavy snow. We're in the Northwest, so very wet snow, some of the slipperyest stuff you've ever driven in. And once we got it cleared, you can see the truck here, tires don't spin at all. The new all-terrain tires just grab the ground, grab that wet compact snow and ice, no problem. Once we got up to the road, we got out there, and there hadn't been a whole lot of traffic other than a UPS truck and a couple of cars that had gone out. But for the most part, the roads just had a couple tracks in them and still a lot of fresh snow to try the new tires out. I'd actually seen a couple of the neighbors get stuck. I helped someone push out a little further down the way. So it was a good chance for me to test the tires, and they did really well. When we got in the deep snow, they could grab it. You could feel them digging. In the tracks, there was no slipping, no sliding. The all-wheel drive system does pretty well in the Maverick on its own, and I've gone out probably 10 to 15 times in the last 2 years that I've owned the vehicle, and the Pirellis always did okay. The all-wheel drive system was pretty much what was getting me through the snow, not the Pirellis. With these new tires, it's night and day. Quite a bit better, lots of grip, no slipping, and yeah, this was just a great test for them. You can even see the tracks in the snow here. I'll zoom in for you, and you can see how well they're laying down tread in the fresh snow. So we got out even the next day. They finally came and plowed, and now the road was showing, and we're out there in the, you know, some of the leftover slushy snow, a little bit of ice in places, and I was driving around like it was nothing. And I even went into a parking lot here just to mess around a little bit. This is still some deeper snow, is, but you know, foot deep in places, still very wet and slushy. When you got up on top of it, it actually started making you slide around a little bit, and you can see I actually start going to the left here. I'm not steering left, and I went to the left, but those new tires tires, they still felt super comfortable in that stuff. They gripped, they tracked, and you can see here in the really wet stuff, they're leaving a really good tread as they pack it down and still are finding the pavement. So I have to say, the Maverick all-wheel drive is pretty good in the snow. Definitely not as good as some of the other systems I've driven in, and not as good as a dedicated four-wheel drive with locking and everything, but it's fun, and the new tires made a huge difference. So hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching Maverick Truck Mods.